It's all good. Just run it. Let's go. It's been a long time coming and we finally came. You're welcome. I'm Raxiel Liz and you're listening to We Alive and Living. First off, I want to say thank you again. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm so happy to be here and I'm glad you're here with me. Welcome. God damn it, welcome. Fuck. Welcome to episode 1. This is officially episode 1. Now, I'm a little taken back and off guard because they told me, my team just told me that, we're going to be filming it and the whole 9 yards. And I was like, I thought it was podcasting. And they said, yeah, but podcasting has, video footage and everything now. So we're going that way. So if you're watching this and you see my reactions and everything, I apologize if I keep looking like I'm looking down. I'm trying to look at the mic. I'm so used to doing that. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm happy you guys are here. Let's unpack a lot of shit. What we said we was going to talk about. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, me and my team, we took a minute to discuss what episode 1 should be about. And somebody came to me and said, well, you should talk about the first 3 things you mentioned already. And they said, you mentioned, your brother passing, your mother passing, your pops. So you should talk about that, like in different chapters. So I said, you know what, you're right. That sounds like a good idea. Let's shed light on that. As you see, if you're looking at this, I got my book, Shut the Fuck Up and Love, on the counter. It's something that we're going to be going, I'm putting it there, not necessarily for advertisement purposes, but to let people know that we're going to be going through the chapters of this book real soon, like in a few episodes. And it's something important to put out there to let people know it's coming. But let's jump straight to the shits, you know what I'm saying? Which one should we talk about? I guess we should talk about it in the order it happened. I want to talk about this due to the fact that I know a lot of people have gone through this, the loss of a loved one, whether it's your mother, your pops, your brother, your sister, whoever, even if it's a pet. It's not something that's easy. It's hard as fuck. It is ridiculously painful. It feels like the pain's never going to end. And I just want to shed light on, put some light on how it happened to me and how I got over certain things and where I'm at now. So let's jump straight to it. Let's talk about my brother first in this episode. For the fact that there's so much to unpack, I don't want to put all 3 in one episode, So let's start. Okay, I was 14. Let's start there. I was 14 years old when it happened. I mean, I'm not going to go into when I was 1 year old, me and my brother was tight. I'm not going to go into that. I'm assuming you know that. Let's start on the day it happened. Obviously, me and him was tight. You don't need all the background on that. But I remember Beauty and the Beast was out in theaters. Beauty and the Beast out in theaters. The cartoon from Disney. And he used to work at a movie theater. And he was like, he used to work there all the time. We used to get these big, giant bags of popcorn. He used to come home with big, giant garbage bags of popcorn whenever he was done with the shift. But anyway, that's another story. I remember him coming to me saying, hey, you want to hang out with my friends? We're going to go to the movies. Because he used to work in the movie theaters in Manhattan, 86th Street. And we used to get into all the movies for free. So I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So we get there. Me and him took the train and whatnot. And we was there. And I'm watching movies and everything like that. And then his friends arrived, a little later. His friends arrived. And, I'm not going to list their names because, I obviously haven't spoken to them in a long time. And to know if they want me to expose their names and all that. But his friends arrived. It's about 3 of them, three of them, if I'm not mistaken. And we're there and we're hanging out. And we're in the theater. And I remember the last movie. I forgot what the other movies we were watching were. What they were. But I remember the last movie we was watching was Beauty and the Beast. And we go in there and we watch Beauty and the Beast. And they didn't want to watch it, but I really wanted to watch it. And the funny part was that out of all the movies we watched, everybody ended up liking Beauty and the Beast more than all of them. The way the Beast was fighting on the rooftop of that castle and the whole 9 yards, it was crazy. The Beast fucked Gaston up. Disney's ruthless, you know what I'm saying? Disney don't give a damn. They be throwing motherfuckers off roofs and killing people. Give a damn. All in the name of love, right? But movie finishes. And we driving back to New York. Not driving back. We're in New York and in Manhattan, and we driving back to the Bronx. And on the route there, we all hanging out, we talking, we listening to music, joking, and this and that. And I remember we pulled up in 166th Street, Finley Avenue in the Bronx, right there between Teller and Finley Avenue and Clay. And we parked there to discuss what was the quickest route, who was going to take home first. So we decided, and right about when we was about to take off, one of the guys in the car noticed a couple arguing. And this is like 2 something in the morning, 2, maybe 3 in the morning. They arguing there next to a closed bodega. And the guy was arguing with her, and the guy started hitting the lady, beating on her, and like really, really trashing her, like really messing her up in a very uncomfortable way. Mind you, I'm 14, and I grew up in a house of domestic violence, so it's something that I knew happened. I mean, I've seen happen. I didn't know it happened outside of my house. I was always thinking that domestic violence was only happening to me. Only my pops was beating on my mom's, But that's another story. It's another episode. So I'm seeing this for the first time in public, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm freaked out, thinking that only my family would do these kind of things. Not my family, but my pops, excuse me. So one of the guys in the car decided to jump out the car and say, hey, stop doing that. Whatever he said, I can't remember that well. Stop hitting that woman, leave her alone. And it was crazy. The crazy part was, the guy just stood there and looked at him. And I remember being in the car and looking back. And looking at the guy, and that gut feeling you get, like, this is not going to go down right. Something don't feel right. And I remember saying, like, man, we should mind our business. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. As a man, you want to assist a woman in need, a woman in danger, or anybody in danger, for that matter. I'm 14 years old. I'm scared to death. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's dark outside. We're in the Bronx, and I'm like, yo, this don't feel right. Anyway, the dude just stood there looking. He wasn't saying nothing. It was literally about 40 seconds passed by. And nobody knew what to do. He just staring. And the woman's there crying. And then you just heard, ba, 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 ba. We're like, what the fuck is going on? The guy starts shooting at the car. The guy was like drunk, high, all types of stuff. He had everything going on with him. I mean, we found this out later. At the time, I didn't know. I'm just thinking like, wow, this guy is really shooting at us. At first, we didn't even know where the bullets were coming from. In New York, the shots come from all over the place. I apologize if you hear sounds in the background. But shots start coming from all over the place and everything. And I guess those sounds is giving us ambient, right? Ambience. But shots is coming. And one of the guy that was driving gets in the car. He takes off. We driving. He ducking his head. My brother told me, I tell my brother, keep your head down. He's pushing my head down, pushing his head down. And then we couldn't see. We just crashed a block away. We crashed into like a pole or something. Had a few cars on the way too. We crashed the car, and I'm there trying to get up, saying like, hey, yo, get up. And then my brother, get up. Mike, get up. Mike, get up, Mike. And he wouldn't budge. And I'm thinking like, why can't I get up? Then I felt like a lot of heat coming down the back of my neck and down my ear and into my mouth and across my cheek. And I'm like, what's going on? So that's when I lifted my head up a little bit, but it was so dark in the car, I couldn't see. When I lifted my head up a little bit, I was able to notice that it was blood. Immediately, I knew he was hit. Immediately. I knew right away that he was hit. And that was the first time in my life I understood sheer fear, pure panic, and I don't know, confusion. Like I was just like, what the fuck is going on? I remember looking back, and his eyes were just open, looking at me. And I'm like, oh my God, he's hit. Mike's been hit. And I open the car door and I jump out. And why, I don't know, but why I'm trying to pull this body out the car, I don't know. Well, what I'm gonna do, But you're panicking, you don't know. So his friends, they come around the car and they look and they see him. We all start panicking. There's a lot of yelling going back and forth. I can't even hear correctly. All I know is I'm being picked up and I get thrown in the car, and they push his body in the car as well. And we start driving to the hospital. And mind you, I'm in the hospital laying on top of my brother's dead body. Blood on my face. The bullet hit the back of his head, came out through the front and missed me by an inch. And I was all splattered across the face and whatnot. Crazy. I remember we get to the hospital and everything is a panic. You pull up to the emergency and they get him, Put him on the bed, and they take him. And there's so much blood on me. It's crazy. There's blood on me. There's blood on his friends and everything. And the car seat's all messed up. And everybody's such in a panic. It's almost like they forgot I was there. Literally, like they forgot I was there. So walk in, and it's crazy. I walked in to the hospital alone because everybody ran in with him, with the doctors and everything. They ran in with him, just left me outside. I understand. Kind of messed up, but I understand. As an adult, I understand, but everybody reacts different to things. So I go into the hospital. It was Lincoln Hospital on 168th Street, 67. I'm probably forgetting the name. It's been so long. But Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx. It's crazy. He died where I was born. I never thought about that. So I'm there sitting down. I remember one of the nurses, one of the ladies in the front desk, nurse or just a receptionist, allowed me to call my mother on the phone. It was crazy that nobody thought about calling her. And everybody was mad that I called. I get it, but what are we going to do? Wait this out? So I call my mother and I tell her what happened. Man, that sound of a mother yelling at the top of their lungs saying, tell me you playing, tell me you lying. Dime que estás diciendo mentira. Mentiroso, mentiroso. That means liar, liar. She wasn't calling me like, you a liar, just she don't want to believe it. So she comes to the hospital. She gets there. It's her and my stepdad. And I remember she walked up to me, and when she saw me, she just knew it was true. When she saw the blood on my shirt, blood on my face, no, it was crazy. Nobody even offered. Nobody even offered for me to wipe my face. Like, here's a rag, get the blood off your face. Nothing. It was just like, it's like it was just everything was everything. Anyway, she sees me, she hugs me, she panics. She tells me, wait here, if I'm okay, whatever. And then she goes to talk to, doctors, and they take her to the back, whatever. Not the back, to the room. Tell her what's happening. And she was hallways away. And I could hear her clearly, like if she was right in front of me yelling. And I could see her through the door, and she dropped to her knees. And it was a horrible feeling. My stepdad's crying. He's trying to control her. And he looks back at me like, man, like, that feeling of a dad or a stepdad, whatever. That feeling of a man not knowing what to do for his wife or his kids. Like you feel like, what can I do? There's nothing you can do, nothing. And man, he held it as strong as he could, and I respect him to death like crazy. If he listens to this, I'll tell him I'm doing this. But it was crazy. And anyway, fast forward a little bit. She comes out. She just walks past me. Not in a disrespectful way or nothing. She just walks past me. I don't even think at that moment she was even there. She was even in her head. And she just goes and sits in the car. Then my stepdad just walks up to me. He bends down in front of me. He goes, no sé cómo decírtelo, pero Mike se murió. And, he basically said, I don't know how to tell you, but Mike's dead. And I remember just looking at him with this still look on my face, crying. And I stopped crying because it was like he was telling me something I already knew. Like I knew when we saw him in the car and the way he looked, his body wasn't moving. 14 years old, I know I was a little kid, but it don't take a lot to know a bullet to the head is going to take somebody out. Maybe you would have gotten there sooner, or maybe the bullet didn't hit a certain part of the brain, but all in all, I assumed it was over. Yeah, that was how all that happened. Now, getting over it, I would never say to someone I got over it. That'd be a lie. It's not that you get over it. You learn how to cope with it. You learn how to live with it. You learn how to come to terms with what's happening around you. And don't get me wrong, when I say you learn how to do this, it's not something you learn overnight. But it's something that can be, let me say this and let me finish when I say it before y'all start looking at the phone crazy or whatever you're listening to me on. It can be easy. Oh, let me say this. Can be easier than it can be. You know, it could be easier than some people make it seem. Depending who you are, depending what happened, depending who it was. It can be easy to shut down and come to terms with reality. Now, this is the bearings of this show. This is the ground, the foundation is what I'm trying to say is. This is the foundation of this show. Is, like my book says, shut the fuck up and love, right? This is where the origin of that book starts. This is where the core of this book lies. It's at that moment that life showed me what it was about. Not that life is death and the loss of people and misery. I'm not saying that. But life gave me a side. Like it showed me something that I honestly didn't think was possible. Not that I didn't think death was possible. But when you're 14 years old, that's not something you really think about too much, I guess, at that time. And it's crazy that when it happened, a dose of reality sat into my veins. A dose of reality settled in my heart. You know, like the phrase, you're here one day and you're gone the next. That became to me so real. That became so understanding when people say life is short. It's not that life is short. Life can be short. Life is, I'm not going to say life is long, but life can be pretty extensive and enjoyable if you pay attention. And that's another conversation. It's another episode. Remember I said that. But my overcoming of that, it was crazy because it was something that I did on my own. You know, everybody was too occupied being hurt. Everybody was too occupied crying. And I don't know how everybody else's family is, but Dominicans, when people pass or a wedding or whatever, something really crazy or big happens, everybody comes over to the house. There's a whole bunch of food. People are eating food, drinking, cooking, sad, crying, talking, reminiscing, enjoying reminiscing the good times, saying what could have happened, going over and over about the story. You know, they're so occupied being hurt and going over the situation for a day or two, or for weeks, whatever I'm saying, like those 2 particular days, that they don't really pay attention to where the kids at. They don't really go back. Where the kids at? They really pay attention to the adults the most, especially whoever took the biggest loss, which at the time was my mom. So it was one of those situations where I was just in the room a lot by myself playing Genesis and Super Nintendo, like literally by myself for weeks. Everybody was so hurt. It was like they were forgetting that I was there. So I settled into myself. I settled into my surroundings. Video games, action figures, comic books. I kind of distracted the shit out of myself. Not on purpose. It was just like that's what I was doing. To the point that every day that went by, it became, I'm not going to say easier. Again, take the word easier with a grain of salt. But it became, I started understanding what was happening. Let's be real with each other. I started understanding at a very early age that he wasn't coming back. I started understanding at an early age that this is some fucked up shit. And no matter how much I cry, yell, pray, ask, whatever I do is not changing. And it became more real and more real with every single grave site visit. Every time we went to that fucking cemetery, a dose of reality settled in more. And a dose of reality settled in more. That it started feeling, honestly speaking, it started feeling, you ever watch a movie, or especially a comic book movie, where this is their origin story. Like, this is where the pain started. He started becoming a vigilante and started becoming a person that fight for good and freedom. You know, not to be corny or cheesy, whatever. But, you know, but that's where who I am today started. It started settling in like a story being written. I started really looking at things not like what was currently happening, but I started noticing I wasn't lying to myself. You know? I was noticing that the more time that went by, the more I would be curious about who my brother was. the more time that went by, I wanted to like look through his things, his records, his tapes, listen to the music he listened to, things he liked. I spoke to some of his friends here and there. I know at times old girlfriends would call me, or the girlfriend he had at the time when he passed, she would call me to see how I was doing. I would go through things he likes. I started working out because he was really big into lifting weights and working out and everything. So, I started doing things that he would do and looking through things that he liked and understanding him more than I already understood him. I knew him as a brother. I didn't know him as a person, though. And when I started getting to know him as a person, the pain started easing and easing and easing. So it started getting easier to cope with, easier to deal with it. I started understanding him and like appreciating him more than I already did. I appreciated him as a brother, but I never like took time to step out of the brother realm and see who he was as a person, what he did for people, how he made people feel, the music he listened to, what the music was doing for him. And then I started like, I'm not gonna say becoming him because I was my own person, but I started like understanding his swag and understanding what made him laugh and understanding his jokes more and more. And understanding as a man why he was so adamant about being a good brother to me. Start seeing what it was in his music and then I used to hear music and tell me, turn that off, man. I'm trying to play some fucking video games here. I can't hear the Genesis. I can't hear the Nintendo. I used to have this excuse that the Nintendo will cut off because the music was vibrating the cartridge. But it became easier the more I dove into knowing him. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that everybody's going to get over this shit the same way I got over my shit. What I'm trying to say is, if you lost somebody and you're still dealing with it, or God forbid, you lose anybody in the future, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's hard as fuck. Man, it's fucking hard. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. How do I say it? You just gotta flood your emotions with reality. Know that there was nothing you could have done. There's nothing you could have changed. Don't start doing that. I wish I did this. I wish I said this. No, they knew. If you loved them, trust me, they loved you. And they knew. They knew everything you wanted to say, everything you could have said, everything you needed to say. They knew. And what you need to do is push forward and make them proud. Take the pain and turn it into a goal. I'm going to make this person proud. I'm going to show this person that the love and attention and belief they had in me wasn't for nothing. It wasn't a lie, so it's like, no, it was true. I'm going to take this loss and turn it into a gain by doing my goals and even finishing goals that they had. I know, for example, my brother was heavy into rap music. His favorite rapper was LL Cool J. He always said that one day he wanted to skydive, and he used to love rapping. And guess what? I met LL Cool J, and not only did I meet LL Cool J, I opened up for him. And when I met him, the first thing I said to him, I cried in front of him and said, "You don't understand the accomplishment and blessing it is to meet you." And I explained to him how much my brother was into him back in the days, listening to Bad, and my mama said knock you out and everything. And LL Cool J looked at me and said, "Man, that's crazy, and I'm glad I met you. And that is an intense, amazing, heartfelt story about your brother's love towards me. If it's cool with you, let's take a dope picture for your brother, and let's take a dope picture in the name of your brother, and you can have this and show it to your family and everybody that knew he loved loved LL Cool J. That you fulfilled one of his dreams. You met LL Cool J." And I was like, hell yeah. So I did that. I've been skydiving, and the great thing is I went skydiving with my little brother. So it was like I got to accomplish my brother's one of his goals, his dreams. Did it with him in my heart, and then I did it with my little brother next to me. So it was just dope to do all that. But yeah, all in all, the best way I could tell you guys to fight through this, push through this, is flood your emotions with reality. I'm not saying lie to yourself and bullshit yourself through it and ignore your feelings. That's not what I'm saying. Listen, Cry and let it out. Talk to whoever you need to talk to. Or if you're like me and you deal with things, you calculate it. You allow your brain to help your heart to help your brain. You look at things very realistic. You know there's still a lot to live for. You know there's still a lot to do in the name of the person you lost. They may be gone from your eyesight, but they're here. They're here with you. So they see you. They just can't communicate. So you don't want them to see you sitting there moping, constantly hurt. That's cool for a while. But you reach a point where you got to allow yourself to let them see you in the light that they saw you, and the light that's going to make them feel good for when they're gone. They know when they're leaving, they look back. They know you're going to be okay. They know they implanted enough in your life for you to be good after that. They know that. And you need to show them that they did a good job while they're gone. And you'll see them later. But for now, while they're gone, you need to let them know they did a good job. That you got this. And I hope that helps a lot of people. Because it damn sure helped me a lot. Looking at it from that point of view. Looking at it from that reality. Saying to myself, I can't let him down. He can see me. Whether some people believe in that or now, I'm delusional, or you don't believe in that spirituality, that's cool. But still, for their memory, make them proud. Become the person they knew you were, and along the way, finish a couple of goals they wanted to achieve. Finish a couple of things that they wanted you to see them do and be proud of them. Finish those goals and show it to them. Show it to yourself. Because every time you accomplish those goals, whether it's yours or it's one for them or one that y'all want to do together, it pushes you a step further to overcoming, to accomplishing. You know? Now, I really hope this advice helps people. And if anybody wants to talk to me deeper on it, again, my Instagram and all that, TikTok, Twitter, whatever, is Raxiel _Liz, Raxiel _Liz, like it says thing here. And hit me up. I'm always willing to help somebody cope through something. I'm always willing to listen. I'm always willing to give advice, point of view. But one thing I will say is this. Don't come here. Don't come to this podcast without your emotions, mental state intact. And what I mean by that is cool if you come in hurt, because I'm messed up in the head and my emotions are all over the place at times. What I'm trying to say intact, I mean intact by, not that you're in self-control of everything and you're not depressed or nothing like that. I mean, we welcome everybody. What I mean intact is come here ready to hear some shit. Be open-minded to the way I'm pursuing things, the way I'm putting things out there for people. Be open-minded to the fact of everything isn't handled the same way. So what I'm saying might not be for everybody. But for those that this resonates with, great, awesome. Let's chop it up. Let's get it. And for those that don't, I apologize. I hope I'm not to offend you in any way. But I understand that certain things ain't for everybody. Now I'm hoping this is for everybody. I'm hoping everybody can listen to this and go, man, he fucking right. Fuck yeah. Like that's true. Again, let me recap real quick and we'll end it here. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be distraught, destroyed, down, falling constantly. In the middle of a day, boom, in front of people. Just break down. Fuck that. Let it out. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. If anything, I implore it. I push you. I say let that shit out. Whenever it's hitting you, let it out. Never going to dry that sponge if you don't let the water out. So what I'm saying is, though, allow yourself to look at things in a very raw, straightforward, aggressive point of view. Allow yourself that. You deserve it. The same way life says fuck you and gives you shit, you need to push back on something like, get the fuck up off me. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. You need to be able to push back. Treat it like it's a person you can see, like you're trying to grab life and be like, who the fuck you talking to right now? We had you good? Good? We had some technical difficulty. The power flickered. We don't know what happened. But like I was saying, I'll leave it here. Grab it and tell it who the fuck you talking to. You know who the fuck I am? Shit. I'm Raxiel Liz, bitch. Ain't gonna break me down. You took too much from me to take this. You took too much from me to allow the bullshit you're trying to give me. It's my fucking turn. I'm gonna do this for everybody I lost and for everybody that's in my life and everybody that depend on me, so fuck you, life. I'm getting it. And I don't mean fuck you, life, in the sense of like you don't give a shit about nothing. I'm just saying, when I say life, I'm talking about these goddamn unicorns. I'm gonna get to that soon. The unicorns. It's in this book. There's a lot of things about the unicorns. The unicorns I'm referring to is like the universe and not the universe, but the negativity in the universe and the negativity people try to put on you and the negativity that might come towards you, the wrong things, like that's the unicorns. I mean, back the fuck up. We'll explain that later, but basically saying, don't allow poison to come into you. I know it hurts. I know it destroys you from the inside, but fight that shit. That's all we could do, is fight or fall. Now leave it there. It's We Alive and Living with Raxiel Liz. That's me. It's been a long time coming and we came. You're welcome. And please, hit them 5 stars. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Spotify, whatever the case may be. And we're going to talk some more. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that shit. I love you guys and let's see what it do. Let's get it. Stay positive. Everybody's alive, but not everybody's living. Remember that. Peace.